Brooklyn, 1943. Vincent Cole slides poisoned whiskey across the table. Bumpy Johnson lifts the glass, locks eyes with him, and drains it. Slow, deliberate. By Sunday, Vincent walks into church alone. 12 men erased like smoke. The speakeasy sits underneath a butcher shop in Red Hook, Brooklyn. No sign, no doorman. Just a steel door that opens when the right knock comes. Inside, the air tastes like cigar smoke and old leather. The kind of place where business gets done quietly, where words carry more weight than guns. Bumpy Johnson walks in alone. He's not on his turf. This is Brooklyn, Irish territory, Italian edges, neutral ground, technically, but neutrality only exists when both sides respect it. Bumpy respects it. He's here because Vincent Cole asked for a sit-down. Cole runs a crew out of Sunset Park. Tough guys. Dock workers turned muscle. They've been moving heroin through Brooklyn, stepping on toes, making noise. Word reached Harlem, Bumpy's Harlem, so Cole extended an invitation. A conversation, he said. Professional courtesy. Bumpy arrives at 9. The room goes quiet when he enters. Not fear, acknowledgement. Even in Brooklyn, people know the name, they know the walk. Calm, steady, like a man who's already decided how the night ends. Vincent Cole sits at a corner table. Mid-30s, sharp suit, slicked hair. He's got 2 men flanking him, arms crossed trying to look dangerous. Bumpy doesn't bring anyone. He crosses the room, pulls out the chair, sits. Cole smiles. Bumpy Johnson, the legend himself. Bumpy doesn't smile back. You wanted to talk. Cole leans forward. He's got that energy. The kind of man who thinks confidence is the same as power. He gestures to the bartender. Drink first, business second. The bartender pours 2 glasses, whiskey, dark amber, slides them across the table. Cole lifts his glass. To new partnerships. Bumpy doesn't move. He watches Cole's hand, watches the glass, watches the 2 men standing behind him, watches the bartender who's suddenly very interested in cleaning a cup that's already clean. Bumpy's been in this game long enough to read a room, and this room is holding its breath. He reaches for the glass, slowly. His fingers wrap around it, cold, smooth. He lifts it, brings it close. The smell hits him first. Whiskey, yes, but something else underneath. Bitter, chemical, faint, but there. Cole is still smiling. Something wrong? Bumpy looks at him, dead in the eyes. Then he drinks. Not a sip, a full swallow, slow, deliberate. He drains half the glass, sets it down, and never breaks eye contact. The room freezes. Cole's smile falters. Just for a second. Just long enough for Bumpy to see it. Good whiskey, Bumpy says. His voice is calm, flat, like he's commenting on the weather. Cole recovers fast, laughs, too loud. Only the best. But his hand is shaking, just a little. Bumpy finishes the glass, every drop. Then he stands. We're done here. Cole blinks. Wait, we did. Bumpy buttons his coat, turns, walks toward the door. No rush, no fear, just the same steady walk he came in with. Behind him, Cole's men don't move. The bartender stares. Vincent Cole sits frozen, glass still in his hand, watching Bumpy leave like he just saw a ghost. The steel door closes. Silence. Then Cole exhales. He drank it. One of his men leans in. Boss, how much did you put in there? Enough to drop a horse. They wait. Morning comes. Bumpy Johnson walks through Harlem like nothing happened. By dawn, every corner in Harlem has heard the story. Vincent Cole tried to poison Bumpy Johnson. Not a rumour, not speculation. Fact. The bartender in Red Hook talked. One of Cole's men talked. Someone always talks. And in Harlem, news travels faster than subway trains. Bumpy wakes up in his apartment on 139th Street. No convulsions, no fever, no hospital run in the middle of the night. He gets dressed, grey suit, polished shoes, fixes his tie in the mirror like it's any other Thursday. His wife Mamie watches him from the doorway. They're saying Vincent Cole tried to kill you. Bumpy adjusts his cufflinks. They're saying a lot of things. Bumpy? He turns, looks at her. His face is calm, but she knows that look. It's the same look he had the night he walked away from Dutch Schultz. The night he stared down Lucky Luciano in a card game and didn't blink. I'm fine, he says. And somehow, impossibly he is. He leaves the apartment, steps onto Lenox Avenue. The morning sun cuts through the fire escapes, lighting up the fruit stands and barbershops and shoeshine corners. People see him. They stop. Mrs. Sadie, who runs the flower shop, drops her watering can. Mr. Lucas, sweeping his stoop, freezes mid-stroke. A group of young runners near the Apollo Theatre go silent. Bumpy nods at them, keeps walking. By the time he reaches the corner of 135th, a small crowd has formed, not blocking him, just watching, waiting for him to collapse, waiting for proof that the poison worked. It doesn't come. Bumpy stops at a newsstand, buys a paper, pays exact change, exchanges a few words with the vendor about the Yankees, normal, routine, like nothing in the world could touch him. Across the river in Brooklyn, Vincent Cole is pacing. His crew sits around a table in the back of a dry cleaner's shop. 12 men, loyal, dangerous. But right now, they look nervous. He should be dead, Cole says. Again, for the 10th time. One of his lieutenants, a thick-necked enforcer named Paulie, lights a cigarette. Maybe he didn't drink it. He drank it. I watched him. Maybe it wasn't enough. Cole slams his hand on the table. It was enough to kill 3 men. Silence. Another man, younger, skinnier, speaks up. So? What now? Cole stops pacing, looks at him. What now? We wait. He's playing tough, but the poison's in him. Give it time. By tonight, he's done. But his voice doesn't carry the same confidence it did last night. Because deep down, Vincent Cole is starting to realize something. Bumpy Johnson didn't just survive the poison, he drank it knowing what it was, and walked out. That's not luck. That's a message. By midday, Bumpy is at the barbershop on 132nd. He sits in the chair, gets a shave, hot towel, straight razor. The barber's hands shake a little, but Bumpy doesn't mention it. Heard you had a rough night, the barber says carefully. Not particularly. Word is Vincent Cole's got it out for you. Bumpy closes his eyes under the towel. Vincent Cole's got a lot of things. Vision ain't one of them. The barber laughs. Nervous, but he laughs. Outside, Bumpy's men are positioned on every corner. They're not hiding. They're visible, watching, waiting, but they're not moving. No retaliation, no drive-bys, no bodies in the river, just presence. And in Harlem, presence is power. An apology, a misunderstanding, a gesture of respect. 10 grand, cash, delivered to Bumpy's door. Bumpy sends it back. Unopened, no note, no explanation, just the money. Returned. Cole gets the message. This isn't about money. This is about something much worse. By Friday, the streets are buzzing with a different question. Not is Bumpy dead, but what's Bumpy going to do? And the terrifying answer is nothing. Yet. Saturday morning. Harlem feels different. The air is tighter. Conversations are quieter. Even the music coming out of the brownstone seems muted, like the whole neighborhood is holding its breath. Bumpy Johnson is still alive, and Vincent Cole is still breathing. But everyone knows that won't last. What they don't know is how it ends. Bumpy doesn't make threats. He doesn't send messages through intermediaries or leave dead rats on doorsteps. That's amateur work. That's what men do when they're desperate to be feared. Bumpy doesn't need fear. He has something better. Inevitability. Cole's crew is starting to fracture. Paulie shows up late to a meeting. Another guy, Frankie, doesn't show up at all. When Cole asks where he is, no one has an answer. He said he had family business, someone offers. Cole doesn't believe it. He's losing control and everyone can see it. On Saturday night, he calls an emergency meeting. All 12 men, mandatory, only 9 show up. Cole stands at the head of the table trying to keep his voice steady. Bumpy Johnson is 1 man, we're 12. We have guns, we have territory, we have a problem, Paulie interrupts. Cole glares at him. What problem? The problem is you tried to kill Bumpy Johnson and he's still walking around. The problem is Harlem's watching us. The problem is we look weak. We're not weak. Then why haven't we heard from him? Silence. That's the question no one wants to ask out loud. Why hasn't Bumpy retaliated? He could have sent shooters by now, could have burned down Cole's operations, could have put a bullet in Vincent's head while he slept. But he hasn't. And that silence is louder than any gunshot. In Harlem, Bumpy sits in a back room at the Rhythm Club. It's a jazz spot on 132nd. Low lights, good music, the kind of place where deals get made over bourbon and bebop. 3 men sit across from him. These aren't street soldiers. These are strategists, advisors. Men who've been with Bumpy since the Prohibition days. One of them, a grey-haired man named Jethro, speaks first. Cole's crew is nervous. 2 of his guys reached out. They want to know if there's room for negotiation. Bumpy sips his drink. What kind of negotiation? The kind where they walk away, clean, no retaliation. Bumpy sets the glass down. And Cole? Jethro shrugs. They didn't mention him. Bumpy nods slowly. This is how empires fall. Not with explosions, with cracks, small fractures that widen into chasms. Cole's men aren't loyal to him. They're loyal to survival, and right now survival means distance from Vincent Cole. Tell them. We'll talk, Bumpy says. Sunday after church. Jethro raises an eyebrow. Church? Bumpy smiles. Barely. Everyone should pray before they make big decisions. Sunday morning comes slow. Vincent Cole wakes up in a cold sweat. He's barely slept in 3 days. Every car engine outside sounds like a threat. Every footstep in the hallway could be his last. He gets dressed, checks his gun, tucks it into his waistband. Then he does something he hasn't done in years. He goes to church, not for God, for routine, for normalcy, for the illusion that life is still under control. St. Francis Xavier, a small Catholic church in Sunset Park. Cole's been going there since he was a kid. It's the one place that still feels safe. He arrives at 9:30, early. The pews are mostly empty. A few old women in the front. A family with young kids near the middle. Cole takes his usual spot, 3rd row from the back, right side. He sits, closes his eyes, tries to pray. But all he can think about is Bumpy Johnson's face. The way he drank that poison without flinching. The way he walked out like death was just another inconvenience. The service starts, hymns, readings. The priest's voice echoes off the stone walls. Cole isn't listening. He's counting exits, watching the door, waiting. Then, halfway through the sermon, the door opens. Footsteps, slow, steady. Cole doesn't turn around. He doesn't need to. He knows that walk. Bumpy Johnson enters the church. He's alone. No gun visible, no crew. Just a man in a grey suit walking down the aisle like he's been invited. He stops 3 rows behind Cole, sits, says nothing. The priest continues. The old women keep praying. The family with kids doesn't notice. But Cole feels it. The weight of Bumpy's presence pressing down on the back of his neck like a hand. He wants to turn around, wants to say something, wants to reach for his gun. But he can't move. Because moving means acknowledging the reality sitting 3 rows behind him. The service ends. People stand, file out, shake the priest's hand. Cole stays seated. So does Bumpy. The church empties. Now it's just the 2 of them, and the silence between them is deafening. Finally Cole stands, turns. Bumpy is looking right at him. No anger, no threat, just presence. Cole opens his mouth, tries to speak. Nothing comes out. Bumpy stands, buttons his coat, walks past him, stops at the end of the pew, doesn't look back. Just says, quiet enough that only Cole can hear, "Your crew's waiting outside. Most of them, anyway." Then he leaves. Cole stumbles to the door, pushes it open. Sunlight hits his face. The street is empty. His car is there, engine running, but his crew, gone. All 12 men, vanished. Vincent Cole stands on the church steps, blinking into the sun like a man waking from a nightmare. His car idles at the curb, engine humming, driver's door open, but no driver, no Paulie, no Frankie, no one. He walks to the car, looks inside, keys in the ignition. His coat folded neatly in the back seat, everything in place, except the men. He turns in a slow circle. The street is quiet, a couple walking a dog, a kid on a bicycle. Sunday morning in Brooklyn, peaceful and normal, but his crew is gone. 12 men don't just disappear. Cole pulls out his gun, checks the clip. Full. He scans the rooftops, the alleyways, the parked cars. Nothing. No ambush, no bodies, no blood, just absence. He gets in the car, starts driving, hands shaking on the wheel. He goes to the dry cleaner's shop, their usual spot, empty. He goes to Paulie's apartment in Bay Ridge. No answer. He goes to the docks where half his crew works. The foreman says they called in sick. All of them. Same day. Cole sits in his car outside the shipyard staring at nothing. His mind is racing, trying to piece it together. Did Bumpy kill them? No. There'd be bodies, messages, fear. Did he pay them off? Maybe. But all 12? At once? Did he threaten their families? Possible. But Bumpy doesn't work like that. He doesn't need to. Then Cole realizes the truth. It's worse than any of those options. Bumpy gave them a choice, and they chose him. 3 weeks later, a new crew moves into Sunset Park. They don't fly Cole's colours. They don't mention his name. They work for Bumpy now. Quietly, efficiently. Running numbers and moving product through the Brooklyn docks the same way Cole's crew used to. But cleaner, smarter, with respect for the boundaries. Paulie is one of them. He's standing outside a warehouse on a Tuesday afternoon when a young kid approaches him. 15, maybe 16, skinny, hungry eyes. You used to work for Vincent Cole, right? Paulie lights a cigarette, doesn't answer. The kid pushes. What happened to him? Paulie blows smoke, looks at the kid. He made a mistake. What kind of mistake? The kind you don't come back from? The kid frowns, trying to understand. Paulie leans in, lowers his voice. You want to last in this life? Learn one thing. It ain't about who's the toughest. It ain't about who's got the biggest gun. It's about who people follow. When the lights go out. He flicks ash onto the pavement. Cole thought he could poison Bumpy Johnson. Thought he could take a shortcut. But Bumpy didn't flinch. Didn't panic. Didn't rush. He just waited. And when the time came, we had a choice. Follow a man who panics or follow a man who doesn't. The kid thinks about this. So you switched sides, Paulie shakes his head. We chose the winning side. There's a difference. In Harlem, Bumpy's reputation grows. Not louder, deeper. People don't talk about him the way they talk about other gangsters. There's no bragging, no wild stories about shootouts or heists. Instead, they talk about the whiskey, the poisoned glass that should have killed him, the way he drank it slow, the way he walked out. It becomes a parable, a legend, the kind of story old men tell young men when they want to teach a lesson about power. You can't kill a man who's already decided he's untouchable, they say, and the young men listen. Bumpy never confirms the details. When people ask him about it, he just smiles. People talk too much, he says. But he doesn't deny it either, because the story serves a purpose. It's a message to every crew in New York, every ambitious lieutenant, every young gun who thinks they can make a name by taking down the king. The message is simple. You can try, but I'll be here when the dust settles, and you won't. One night, months later, Bumpy sits on his stoop with Jethro. The street is quiet. Summer heat hangs in the air. A radio somewhere plays Billie Holiday. Jethro pours 2 glasses of whiskey, slides one to Bumpy. Bumpy looks at it, smiles. You trying to tell me something? Jethro laughs. Just whiskey, good whiskey. Bumpy lifts the glass, holds it up to the streetlight. The amber liquid glows. You ever think about what would have happened if it worked? Jethro asks. If the poison actually killed you, Bumpy takes a sip, then someone else would be sitting here, and the story would be different. But it didn't? No, it didn't. Jethro leans back. People think you're invincible now. You know that, right? Bumpy sets the glass down. I'm not invincible. I'm just patient. What's the difference? Bumpy looks at him. Invincible means you can't be touched. Patient means you wait until the right moment to move. One's a myth. The other's a strategy. Jethro nods slowly. And Cole? Cole's gone, and his crew works for us now. That's not invincibility. That's just knowing when to let a man destroy himself. They sit in silence for a moment. Then Jethro raises his glass. To patience, then. Bumpy clinks his glass against it. To patience. Back in Harlem, Bumpy is having breakfast at Sylvia's. Eggs, toast, coffee. The Sunday papers spread out in front of him. Jethro slides into the booth across from him. It's done. Bumpy doesn't look up from the paper. All of them? 10 switched, signed on with our distribution network. They'll run product through Brooklyn under our terms. 2, others took the money and left the city. Train tickets to Philadelphia. They won't be back. And Cole? Alone. Bumpy folds the paper, takes a sip of coffee. Good. Jethro leans forward. He's going to run, or he's going to do something stupid. He'll run, Bumpy says. Men like Cole always do. They talk big when they have an army. But take that away and they remember they're just men. You want us to follow him? Make sure he leaves?" Bumpy shakes his head. "No need. He's already gone." That afternoon, Vincent Cole packs a bag. 1 suitcase, cash, gun, fake ID he's been saving for emergencies. He doesn't say goodbye to anyone, doesn't make calls, doesn't leave a note. He just leaves, drives to Penn Station, buys a ticket to Chicago, boards the train. As the platform slides away and New York disappears behind him, Cole stares out the window. He thinks about the poisoned whiskey. He thinks about Bumpy's eyes. He thinks about the church and the empty street and the men who abandoned him without a word. And he understands finally what happened. Bumpy Johnson didn't beat him with violence. He beat him with patience. He let the poison fail, let the silence grow, let Cole's own fear do the work. And when the moment came, when Cole was at his weakest, Bumpy didn't strike. He just took his crew, took his power, took his city, and left Cole alive to live with it. By Monday, the story's all over Harlem. Vincent Cole tried to poison Bumpy Johnson. Bumpy drank it. Cole's crew disappeared. Cole fled the city. No shots fired, no bodies, no war. Just a glass of whiskey and 5 days of silence. People talk about it in barbershops and pool halls. They retell it with embellishments, adding details that may or may not be true. But the core of the story stays the same. Bumpy Johnson is untouchable. Not because he's violent, because he's inevitable. Years pass. The story of the poisoned whiskey becomes legend. It's told in different ways depending on who's telling it. Some say Bumpy built up an immunity to poison over the years, taking small doses to protect himself. Others say he had a doctor on standby, pumping his stomach the moment he got home. A few claim he never drank the poison at all, that he switched the glasses when Cole wasn't looking. But the people who were there, the ones who saw it happen, they know the truth. Bumpy drank it. And he didn't flinch. Not because he was immune, not because he had a backup plan, but because fear is a choice. And Bumpy Johnson chose not to be afraid. In 1950, a journalist from the Amsterdam News interviews Bumpy for a profile. They meet at the Rhythm Club, same backroom where Bumpy planned the end of Vincent Cole's empire. The journalist is young, eager, he's heard the stories. "Is it true?" he asks. "The story about the poisoned whiskey?" Bumpy sips his drink, takes his time, answering. "You believe everything you hear?" "I believe enough people have told me the same story that there's something to it." Bumpy smiles. "Then why do you need me to confirm it?" The journalist leans forward. "Because I want to know how you survived." Bumpy sets his glass down, looks the young man in the eye. "You're asking the wrong question." "What's the right question?" "Not how I survived. Why?" The journalist frowns. "What's the difference?" Bumpy stands, buttons his coat. "How is luck? Why is purpose? I survived because I had something to protect. A community, a code, a legacy. Cole didn't have that. He had ego, and ego dies easy." He walks to the door, stops, looks back. "You want to write about me? Write about that. Write about the difference between power and respect. One's temporary, the other lasts." And then he's gone. The article runs 2 weeks later. It's titled, "The Man Who Drank Death." It becomes one of the most read pieces in the Amsterdam News that year, not because of the violence, but because of the lesson. By the time Bumpy Johnson dies in 1968, the story has been told 1,000 times. It's been exaggerated, mythologized, turned into something bigger than the moment itself. But at its core, the truth remains. A man tried to kill Bumpy Johnson with poison. Bumpy drank it, didn't flinch, and 5 days later, that man's entire world collapsed. No bullets, no bloodshed, no war, just patience, strategy, and an unshakable belief that respect is built in silence. Decades later, in barbershops and street corners, old men still tell the story. They tell it to young men who think power comes from guns. They tell it to hustlers who think fear is the same as respect. They tell it to anyone who'll listen. And the story always ends the same way. Bumpy Johnson didn't need to shoot Vincent Cole. He just needed to outlast him. Because in the end, the man who stays calm wins. The man who waits wins. The man who understands that power isn't about what you do, it's about what you don't have to do. He's the one who builds a legacy. In Harlem, on 135th and Lenox, there's a mural now. It shows Bumpy Johnson in his grey suit, calm, composed, a glass of whiskey in his hand. Underneath, painted in bold letters, fear is temporary, respect is forever. Tourists take pictures, locals nod in recognition, and somewhere in the stories still being told, in the lessons still being learned, Bumpy Johnson's legacy lives on. Not as a gangster, not as a killer, but as the man who proved that true power doesn't shout, it whispers, and everyone listens.